In 2026, TSA upgrades have a new talent, making airport security worse. Same airport, same hour. 2 security lanes, 2 different realities. Lane 1 goes, leave everything in your bag. Lane 2 is barking, laptop out, shoes off. And you're stuck doing that awkward shuffle where you're trying not to hold up the line, but you also don't want to get sent back. Here's what's wild. You don't lose because you did something wrong. You lose because the upgrade isn't the same in every lane, in every terminal, on every day. So I'm not doing a memorized TSA rules video. That's a trap. I'm giving you the few simple habits that still work when the tech changes, the lane changes, and the checkpoint feels like it's running 2 different operating systems at once. Now watch this, because the first upgrade making things worse isn't even a machine. It's the humans trying to catch up to it. TSA's been hiring a ton of new officers across the country. Long term, that should help lines move faster. Short term, there's a side effect. Your odds of landing in a lane run by someone still learning, the flow just went up. And you can tell fast. The bins start stacking up, the line stalls, and little steps take longer than they should. Because like any new job, there's that awkward learning curve. They're not just stricter by the book, they're slower while they get comfortable. Newer officers often cling to the rule book like it's a seatbelt. Not because they hate you. They're in full, I'm doing this exactly by the book so nobody can ding me mode. If you fly enough, you're gonna get unlucky at least once. I got pulled into one of those lanes, and my 311 bag became a whole event. Bottles out, labels up, one by one, like we were doing quality control at a shampoo factory. So when a lane feels that by the book, don't debate, switch to strict mode. Liquids pouch ready, pockets empty, big electronics easy to grab, give them 0 reasons to pause you. But even when the officer is chill, there's still one thing that can betray you, the scanner. Because sometimes it's not the person at all. The machine flags you even when you did exactly what the sign said. Airports are rolling out newer CT-style scanners that rely heavily on automated detection. On paper, it sounds perfect. 3D images, faster decisions, and you're not spreading your stuff across bins like you're setting up a yard sale. In a lot of CT lanes, they'll often tell you to keep liquids and laptops in the bag. When it's running well, it feels like you just unlocked easy mode. But the trade-off is, these systems are picky. They're built to flag anything that looks off, even when it's totally normal. The lotion bottle you sailed through with last time? Now it's a question mark. A snack brick in your bag? Same. I've even heard of someone getting stopped because the foam in their sneakers looked unusual on the image. So yeah, the tech is smarter. And that can mean more flags, not fewer, especially on a day when the lane is moving fast and the system is set to be extra cautious. And you can't count on getting a CT lane anyway. Not every checkpoint has it. Even within the same airport, one terminal might have it and another won't. Sometimes the machine is having an off day, and the easy lane turns right back into the strict lane with 0 warning. Treat CT like a bonus, not the plan. Pack for the strict lane every time. And keep your top layer consistent. 2 pouches and your laptop right on top, so if they want it out, you're ready in 2 seconds. And the rule this whole upgrade made more confusing, not less, liquids. Alright, liquids. Because this is where people lose patience. 311 didn't change. What changes is the lane you get. CT lane versus classic X-ray. One checkpoint wants your quart bag out in a bin. The next one tells you to leave it inside. Same rule, different script. So lock this in. Each container has to be 3.4 ounces or less. Everything fits in one clear quart-sized bag, and it's 1 bag per person. But don't get too comfortable. TSA's idea of liquid is way broader than yours. If it can pour, smear, spray, or gel, it counts. So it's not just water and shampoo. It's toothpaste, sunscreen, and the sneaky ones people forget, like peanut butter, cream cheese, hummus, even yogurt. If it's spreadable, it can become a problem fast. The move is simple. Keep that clear liquids bag near the top of your carry-on. That way, if they want it out, it's one clean motion, Zip, lift, bin. No digging, no repack drama at the table. And even if the last airport didn't make you pull it out, don't assume anything. Pack like you'll be asked, and you'll never get caught flat-footed. And if liquids feel inconsistent, wait until we talk about shoes, because that update caught a lot of people off guard. Shoes on sounds like freedom, until the lane decides you're still playing the old game. Good news first. For most US domestic screenings now, you can usually keep your shoes on. That change kicked in on the 8th of July 2025. But default doesn't mean never. If the scanner flags something or you get pulled for extra screening, they can still tell you to take them off. And it can depend on the terminal too. Some places feel like they got the update, and some are basically running security like it's a few years ago. So wear shoes you can pop off and get back on fast, because nobody wants to be doing a lace negotiation while bins pile up behind them. Now, if you're trying to cut down the chaos overall, that's where PreCheck comes in. It does help, mostly because you usually do less unpacking. Fewer take this out moments, fewer little delays that turn into a pileup. But here's the part people don't expect. So many travelers have PreCheck now that at peak times, the PreCheck line can look basically the same as the regular line at some busy airports. So you're not really paying for an empty lane, you're paying for fewer hassles while you wait. PreCheck can still save you real time, but it depends heavily on the airport. And speaking of things you can't cut close, ID is where TSA got way less forgiving. Picture this. You're flying domestic, you left your passport at home, and you still haven't gotten a real ID yet. You walk up to the checkpoint and realize you have nothing TSA can accept. Starting February 1st, 2026, that's where ConfirmID comes in. It's a paid, last-minute rescue option, $45 when you don't have an acceptable ID. Think of it as the toll booth for an oops, not something you want to rely on. Quick clarity. For domestic flights, TSA expects an accepted ID. Real ID is the common one, but it's not the only one. Passport, a trusted traveler card like Global Entry, Military ID, and TSA has the full list on their site. Now the part people misunderstand. ConfirmID doesn't buy speed. You're paying for extra identity verification, and it can take time, sometimes enough to wreck your morning if you showed up with a tight buffer. And it's only valid for 10 days. So if your trip runs long, you might be paying again on the way back. That's how $45 can quietly turn into $90 per person. You don't pay at the checkpoint either. It's online through pay.gov, and you'll need proof of payment, so screenshot that receipt, because your phone will choose the worst possible moment to make it disappear. And don't treat it like a guaranteed safety net. TSA says it's an attempt to verify you, there's no promise it'll work, it's for travelers 18 and up, and it's US domestic only. If you're flying international, none of this matters. Your passport is still non-negotiable. So yeah, the boring move still wins. Always have a backup physical ID plan that doesn't depend on your phone battery. Alright, ID drama handled. Now let's talk about the other thing that can turn a quick checkpoint into a whole conversation: medication. If there's one category that can turn a 30-second scan into a table conversation, it's medication. On paper, it should be simple. If you need meds, you bring them. TSA even allows medically necessary liquids in larger amounts than the usual limit, as long as you declare them, which is a big deal for people traveling with things like insulin or other daily essentials. But sometimes the screening goes extra. A quick pass turns into a swab, a visual check, a couple questions, and you're standing at the table for 5 to 10 minutes while the line keeps moving without you. People who travel with medical essentials feel that inconsistency the most, because not every lane handles it with the same confidence. So if you rely on medication, the goal isn't hope nobody notices. The goal is end the conversation fast. That's 3 small habits. Keep prescriptions clearly labeled with your name. Keep all meds and medical liquids grouped together near the top of your bag. And declare it early with one calm sentence medication, medical liquids. So it's not a surprise after the scan. That setup doesn't guarantee zero extra screening, but it makes the interaction shorter, cleaner, and way less stressful. And speaking of TSA getting more high-tech, let's talk about paperless ID and face scans, because that's a whole new kind of chaos. TSA is pushing the paperless future harder now, and there are basically two modes you'll run into. Digital ID is when your ID lives on your phone. Face scan is the camera at the podium doing a facial comparison. When it works, it feels great. You step up, the scanner beeps, and you're through without doing the wallet scramble, while people behind you silently judge your pockets. But this is still airport technology, which means it has moods. Lighting's weird, the camera gets picky, the system lags, suddenly the fast lane becomes a staring contest, and you're getting redirected to manual checks anyway. Face scans can be even more hit or miss. Show up looking a little different than your old photo, new glasses, new hair, beard, no beard, and the machine decides today is not the day. And even the testing world admits performance can vary depending on conditions, which is why a lot of people don't love the idea of making it the default for everyone. Then there's the other piece, privacy. Once biometrics enter the chat, people worry about breaches and function creep, where something that starts as optional convenience slowly becomes the norm. So here's the practical way to handle it without turning it into a debate. First, treat digital ID like a shortcut. Not your only plan, always carry a physical ID anyway. Second, if you don't want the face scan, say it up front. I want to opt out. No speech, no explanation. Third, opt-out just means you'll do the normal manual check path. It's not a crime, it's just a process. If security ever makes your brain feel overloaded, you're not being dramatic. That whole moment, bins, belt, shoes, laptop, pockets, hits some people like a wall, and when the line behind you is moving like it's late for a game show, it gets worse. This is where TSA Cares can be a lifesaver. It's a free service for travelers with disabilities, medical conditions, or other special circumstances. You request it ahead of time, and they can set you up with a passenger support specialist who meets you and helps you through the checkpoint flow. It's especially helpful if you're traveling with things that always turn into a conversation. CPAPs, insulin supplies, mobility supports, stuff that's totally normal, but still tends to get extra attention. And the best part? You don't have to overshare. You're not there to explain your whole life story. You just ask for help getting through screening, say what you need in plain language, and let them do their job. The goal is calm and clean, not scrambling. And even with that kind of help, there's still one thing that can speed you up or slow you down instantly: the lane you choose. If you see a checkpoint with multiple spots to load bins at once, that's an automated screening lane, ASL. And these lanes run on a totally different rhythm than the old one person unloads, everyone else waits setup. Bins cycle back on their own, bags keep moving, and anything that needs extra screening gets pulled aside without freezing the entire line. So here's the move. Don't stand behind the person in front of you like you're waiting to order coffee. If there's an open loading spot, step in and start unloading. That's not cutting, that's how the lane is designed to work. Grab the closest open spot, load fast, and keep it moving. Then once your bin clears, take your stuff to the benches to put yourself back together. ASL rewards people who can load, clean, and move. So the less you fumble at the bins, the faster you're out. So yeah, 2026 security isn't one system. It's a bunch of versions running at the same time. If you walk in expecting consistency, you're the one who pays for it. Drop a comment with the airport and the exact moment your checkpoint went sideways. Because the more patterns we see, the easier it is to call out what's actually happening. And if this saved you even one headache, hit like and subscribe. I'll keep updating these as the rules keep changing lane by lane.